So y'all thought we were done? Watch this. Yes, we live. We're not done. We have more to say. We're gonna yap today. Sinners has taken over every single social media timeline. We cannot stop talking about it, and we won't stop talking about it because that's how we do here at the Silver Site. My name is RJ.
I'm Dr. J.
I'm Gerald G. Saw that.
And we're back to a yappity yap about sinners. We cannot get enough of it. It's taking over our group chats. It's taking over TikTok, Instagram. Well, I wouldn't know because I'm not on there like that. And even, yes, the boomers and Gen X's of Facebook are yapping about sinners. It has everybody talking from the non believers to the Christians. It has created a dialogue in every corner of America, seemingly. And man, I have a lot more to say. I still haven't gone for my second watch, but just listening to everybody break down this movie, it's just shown me how special it is. So what are you guys' additional thoughts since you've had multiple watches or have time to let it marinate? So what is on your mind about Sinners?
I would say for me, first and foremost, it is rare I see a movie, I pay to see a movie in theaters 3 times. It is a rare occurrence. So, Ryan Coogler, you did your thing to get me to pay to see the same movie 3 times and do the pre-order on a website we're not supposed to be shopping at right now. Listen, I feel like the first watch was okay, right? Like the first watch, when I went into the first watch, I felt like I already experienced the spoilers from TikTok, from Instagram, the think pieces. So I already had like preconceived notions going into the first watch. But it's the first watch. So it's different when you see it all put together rather than just clips of the scenes. The second watch was completely different for me because I was able to look at like the little details. Like me and G were talking about it after I saw the second watch, and I was texting him. I was like, oh my God, what about this? What about that? And then the third watch, I'm not gonna lie, I did that for the Silver Sight crew because I was like, let me watch it one more time. Let me spend more of my money to make sure I'm on top of it. It's top of mind. So who goes to the movie on a Monday to see the same movie for the third time?
Listen, no day is off.
Dedicated.
No day is off limits for me. I've seen it 5 times, and I'll just say that every single time I've enjoyed it a little bit more. I think I've appreciated the work that I would definitely say the entire crew, being somebody who's worked behind the scenes on something way, way, way more low budget than that film. But I can definitely tell you they put a lot of effort into that film. And for anybody to ever say that Michael B. Jordan's performance was mid at best, they need to stop reviewing films.
Yeah,
I don't care who takes that; they take it how they want to take it. Stop reviewing films if you think that Michael B. Jordan did not play 2 totally separate roles.
Yeah,
it stuck out so glaringly, like the dude, like really. At first, I struggled because I was like, well, maybe I'm just hearing the voice and I just can't separate the two. And I'm smoking stack. It was at first about the first 30 minutes, it felt like the same character because I just wasn't sure like who I was looking at. By the time we got about midway through, second going into the third act, I was like, yo, this dude is doing his thing, man. Once I got to the next watches, it was like, golly, I picked out so many other details that were like just floored me just thinking about how they did things.
If there was a problem with this film, it wasn't the performances, and it damn sure wasn't Michael B. Jordan's performance. If there was an issue with this film, performances were just like 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I struggle with people who said that the first half bothered them because I think they were looking for a vampire movie. Again, this was a film with vampires in it, but it was not a vampire film, and that's where I think people lost themselves.
You know what? I feel like I understand why people thought that though. So I want to say my first commercial of the film that I saw was they were doing real good TikTok marketing. They're paid ads on TikTok.
Yeah.
And all the clips that I originally saw about it, it was giving vampire movie. And I think
Mhm.
this was a while back when I was sending, I think I sent them to RJ. I was like, RJ, look at this. I want to see this. This
You
is
did,
before
yeah,
it got the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This was a
Uh-huh.
while back. And those original movies, it gave complete horror, the
Hmm.
clips. But if you notice, I mean, I don't know if because I've just been in the world of Sinners for the last couple of weeks. If you notice, they've changed their marketing now, right? So the
yeah,
clips that you're seeing populate all over social media. It's not that clip when Sammy's father says, "If you play with the devil's gonna come," or whatever. They switched it
Hmm.
to
yeah,
other clips. So I feel like they kind of switched it around to capture a different audience because I had a lot of friends. Like when I went to go see it, first off, some of my friends was like, "Girl, you went to the movies to go see how many are like?" And I was like, "If you know, it's like if you know type of
yeah,
vibe
Right.
because they're
yeah.
like." Girl, you don't spend your time like that. You spend your time differently. And that's another if you know, you know.
Okay.
So it's kind of like when I did,
Wait.
when after I saw it, it's nice.
Yeah.
What when I did see it, I told my friends, I was like, y'all gotta go see this. They're like,
Yeah.
if Jay's saying you gotta go see it for real because she
Yeah.
don't recommend nothing just for fun. I was like, exactly. I was like, y'all gotta go see it. One of my friends, my sorority sister, she was like, it's a horror movie. I was like, it's not. Go
Correct.
watch.
That's exactly what I told somebody. And they like, I don't, I don't watch horror movies. I said, okay, I'm gonna tell you now, it's
Mhm.
100% not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
genre piece that literally just folds in on itself in many different ways, and it treats it as such. Like that's one of the things that I think that Ryan Coogler has been able to do with each film that he's associated with. I think he's been able to um like almost like take a piece of his soul and put it into the film and
Yeah.
able to help people understand exactly what he was trying to do. Like think about the lore he chose in creating the antagonist of the film
Yeah.
and still being able to capture like people saying stupid stuff like I'm not even I'm not gonna say a name, but somebody even saying something about how it's
Yeah.
like the worst what they call it like like basically like one of the most racist movies they've ever seen. I was like,
Oh, we
okay,
know why. We know
no,
why.
no, 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 no. This was actually a black person.
They said
So,
Sinners is the most racist movie that Sinners
well,
is.
first off, I
Like
believe, I,
this.
yeah, I believe, but I believe this person. I kid you not, this person is heavily disliked in the sports community, and this person has been known to say some outlandish things. But I think he's also being paid to be that type of
And he
person.
probably could. He could be a panderer, which is why we have to
Yeah.
protect films like this, and we have to support films like this. Sinners to me is you don't get this kind of like feeling. I have the same feeling I had when Black Panther, first came out. Like that's how important, especially this movie is to Black cinema. What also I love about this film is kind of touching what you and Dr. J was saying is this isn't simply a horror film. I feel like you have to understand genre blending to really
Hmm.
appreciate and enjoy this film. There was romance. There was, some elements of horror. There was, a period piece where, we went back to the, segregation and,
Yeah, I agree, Wade.
slavery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a horror film, it's a thriller. Yes, exactly. And there's elements of thriller in it. So I feel like
Hmm.
that's another reason
Like
why this film is
musical. It
so,
had.
and it's a musical too.
Yeah.
There are so many elements of this movie where even if like me, I personally went for the horror element. Well, not with the horror. I went for the supernatural element because y'all know I love magic,
Hmm.
and so like anything magical, supernatural, I'm there. But that's not what made me fall in love with the movie. It's everything else that came along with it that made me fall in love with the movie.
Yeah.
People are always looking for an excuse to say something is too racist. Exactly,
Hmm.
Jay.
Yeah, and like even the point you're making, like for what it's worth, like how do you go into a film, and even if you go into it blindly, because that's one of the things I try not to do is, I'm probably going to see it Thursday night when it's fresh before it even completely releases, and I'd be
Yeah,
like, okay, I know I can't say anything. Luckily, the boy Jay, he jumped in and he went and saw it. So we were able to talk about it later that night. And
Yeah.
I mean, my wheels were still spinning. And I think my second watch, I was a little bit more calm because the first time I watched it, I was amped up and I missed so many things because I was so
Same.
amped up
Yeah.
to see it. But then going into the second viewing, I was able to pick certain things and say, okay, I need to focus a little bit more. Third watch, I definitely was more locked in, and then I was able to still have conversations. Me and Dr. J talked, and I was just like, yeah, but did you see this? And she was like, yeah, I saw that. Did you see this? And I was like, you know what? That's something I may need to look at again. So let me go again. So I appreciated the idea of being able to see something, and being able to understand it from multi-level standpoint, and then being able to talk to different people without trying to spoil everything that if they hadn't seen it. I try to tell people, hey, I'm not going to spoil it for you. However, there was definitely some things that you want to look out for to help you with this film.
So I want to talk about, we briefly mentioned Michael B. Jordan's performance as Smoke and Stack. So what were some, and I'll say the Stack with no S, black people, we got to stop adding S
Stacks.
on the end of everything. Like,
They've
it's
been
not
calling him
Sonic.
Stacks.
Yes, they're calling that man Stacks. There's no S on there. Like, there's no S on Sonic, Lizard Thicket. There's no S on that stuff. Like, let's just call a man what his mama named him when mama named him Stack. So he's Stack.
I'm gonna call him Stack.
Stacks is crazy work.
When I saw that, I was like, why we do that? Why we put an S on into everything?
They went big boy from Outkast. We call him Daddy Fat Stacks.
No, but like the before, and here's the thing. And I feel like, if I'm quoting Buffy here, in every generation there's one, but like he to me is slowly solidifying himself. And of course he's not Denzel. Everybody has their own path. But he, to me, he's gonna, when he gets like older, we're gonna look at him like we look at Morgan Freeman and Denzel and all the other top-notch black actors. If his filmography keeps going the way it goes, and if he keeps having the performances that he's been having, to me, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest black male actors of our time.
I absolutely agree. And I want to say, I mean, let's be clear, Michael B. Jordan has been him, right? He's been that guy. But Sinners, I truly believe, has opened up his fan base to more people. Like,
Agreed.
I feel like I feel like he got it when Black Panther came out, because there's people like me. I just love a good villain. Okay, I will always root for the underdog. I love a good villain. But I feel like he got his shine there. Then Wakanda Forever, he got a little bit of shine, but Wakanda Forever wasn't about him. But Sinners, I feel like it started off with that 100% rating, and then with all the hype behind it and everything like that, I feel like it's.
And it wasn't a fake 100% either.
It wasn't a fake 100%. It was a hard 100. Like, they didn't miss with that one. And honestly, when I seen that 100, that's when I knew it. I was like, oh, okay. He did his big one. But I think for him, and I think I said this in the first live, for you to have one actor play two roles in the same movie, identical twins or not, but for him to make each role so individual that when you're watching it, it's like two different people. That's art. That's someone who has specialized in their craft. That's someone who don't play about their job. Literally, like, he does his job and he does it well. And I feel like we saw that. I don't know if every actor or actress is able to do what he did in Sinners so well, but he did it. And I feel like watching the movie more than once, it shows you, like, you could tell when Smoke is on the screen. No, you could tell when Stack is on the screen. No S. Like, you could tell when both of them are on the screen. Like, even their demeanor, right? You could tell the difference. Like he changes his walk. It's like the aura is different when he walks into the room. And I feel like for him to do that, I'm like, it had to be hard on him. It's like you come back on set, you're a different person. And even as I'm watching the interview, the breakdown interviews of him talking about it and saying how many times they had to refilm each scene to make sure they got both versions using that new camera technology, the halo that he had to
Yeah.
wear to do like
Right.
the zoom
The
in,
handoffs and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything. It's like I'm like I hope he got a good paycheck for it based on
So
how much
that's
it's made. I hope he got paid his worth.
yeah, that's my
Double.
kudos to Ryan Coogler for envisioning the actual breakdown of that, because they worked hand in hand. I think that
Yeah.
they go in lockstep with one another, and I
Yeah.
believe that I said this before, and I believe that they and like I said, I'm gonna take Black out of it. They
Yeah.
are Hollywood's dream team.
At
They
this
don't they
point.
haven't missed. They
Yeah.
haven't missed.
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station. I mean, dude, they haven't missed.
Every time they team up, they do well together. And I would be remiss if I didn't think that if I would be holding on to the fact that when award season comes, Sinners, somebody somewhere in this
Yeah,
cast should, but we already know one, forget race aside, anything that has a horror element very rarely gets watched by the Academy.
right.
And
Well, I
and
can't wait though.
regardless, things don't get
So
watched
this
by the Academy.
with this Academy season, they changing it where they have to have watched all of the
But
film.
did you see the workaround of that? They were
Uh,
saying that there's they didn't say who said it, but they were saying like it doesn't need to know that you didn't watch it. You just have to play it. So people are already finding ways around not truly watching these.
that's fine.
Uh,
They'll get figured out. They'll
yeah.
get figured out.
Eventually they will. They'll probably use some
Um,
technology, like because even in school now, like they can tell if kids look away from the screen and stuff like that, or if you change tabs.
mhm,
Even with screeners, um, for from if I change tabs while it's playing, it'll stop playing. So I feel
mhm.
like maybe that's going to be a way where they try to like um make people watch it. I just feel like if you're on a committee and it's your job to give these awards
You
justly, you
should
have a
watch.
responsibility to everybody that participated, that worked on that film, to watch that film. And if it doesn't earn your vote, great. But I feel like you don't know what you're missing out on. You don't know who you're jipping or selling short if you don't watch all of those films.
And I hate that they'll probably do this, but soundtrack will probably be up there,
Yeah,
mainly because it's a non-black person. But I mean, dude is cold blooded though,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean
Mhm.
that's a reality. Dude is cold blooded. We'll I guess we'll see as we roll towards the back half of the year, what kind of, especially once it comes out on like digital, I think it's gonna hit another swell. You know,
I'm buying digital like
yeah.
that. I've already committed. Like when it comes out, I'm buying Blu-ray automatic.
Mhm.
Like there's no way around it. Like if I see it, I'm popping it.
It may struggle during award season because it came out so early this year. But again, if they decide to make a big push, they'll probably put it back in the theaters later in the year too.
Yeah,
So or around the time, like kind of how they did a lot of those films this past Oscar season. They put everything. I think it was only one that didn't go back,
yeah.
and everything else went back. So um, I could see another push, especially if they freak them and hit them with another 70 millimeter. So
Man, listen,
Yeah.
I
so
never regretted living in the country so bad. Like my mortgage is only $860.
Oh.
Like, but what I wouldn't pay to live in a city right now where I could go and see that in the way it was intended to be filmed. Like I regret living where I live next to cows and chickens and stuff because the closest like theater that will probably play something like that is going to be either Charlotte, which is an hour and a half away from me, if it even got it, because I don't even think Charlotte got it. I don't remember seeing it in Charlotte because I was going to drive and I didn't see it. So I'm just kind of bummed that. What's up, Tamon? How's it going, bro? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you, man. But that's the only thing I regret is that I probably will never get to see it in the way that it was intended.
yeah.
I don't know, the $800 mortgage, I might take that over. I was like, you said that like that was. I'm like,
It is a bad thing when you don't got no IMAX. It's not even a bus out here. Like there's
you
nothing out
know,
here.
have y'all seen the thing that's been floating around social media about basically the town that Sinners was filmed based on? They don't even have a movie theater there,
Correct.
and
I
they've been
did
trying
see
to
Yeah.
that.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
And they were
Yeah.
petitioning them to give them a special screening. And
Yeah.
I get it. You know, I get it. I feel like that would be really nice of them to go there and build that just for this so they can see everybody in the town. I feel like it wouldn't exist without it. So why not do something nice for the townspeople?
True that. I agree. I agree.
So one thing I do want to talk about, let's talk about Sammy and his performance. Um, vocally, and like I say, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I was religious, I was heavily involved like in music. I haven't touched the piano since I left church. But like musically, to me, that probably was what got me the most because oftentimes, music, secular music is equated to, evil things and
Mhm.
darkness and it's not of God and all those other things. And I really resonated with Sammy being torn between his love for music, his love for, and then his love for his church and, religion and stuff like that, and his love for his dad. Sammy to me, uh, I relate to Sammy. I'll say that. Yes, me and Sammy are one and the same. Yes, he was playing the hell out of that guitar.
Yeah. It was hilarious how
Yes, unfortunately, I
Stack,
was.
it was hilarious how Stack responded to him when he first started playing when they were driving, and I was like, oh yeah, dude is gonna be the guy. When he started, especially when he started singing, he was like, oh
Yeah.
boy, you gonna make some money tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you gonna make some money. So I thought it was great being able to have him showcase that, especially as kind of a breakout role for him, because I'm sure if he was just acting, people would have probably been a lot more critical of rookie mistakes he might have made
Yeah.
here and there. But being able to perform, I'm sure that leveled his nerves, and him being able to get out there and actually do what he loved, and have to be talked into kind of playing the role, So, but
Did
that
you
was
guys see his TikTok where he was actually like playing the guitar,
yeah,
and people in the comments were like, you remember what happened last time?" Like, that.
You know
man,
what? I feel like for that to be like y'all says, for that to be someone's first big role and your breakout movie is a movie like Sinners, I feel like you couldn't ask for a better breakout role in a
correct,
movie that's so good.
yeah,
Like, I don't know if it's the luck of the draw or it's just his time to be great. I feel like he is the perfect character for to play Sammy. Like, and it worked with Sinners because if you were someone who did not leave at the end and actually saw the last two scenes of the movie, you would
Yeah.
see how the progression of his character to adulthood and everything like that. And I say that is crazy because I've seen a lot of people say on their first watch they just left and they have no clue what
Yeah.
happened at the end. They have absolutely no clue.
so
But
so I'm gonna
Sammy,
oh, go ahead, finish that. I'll tell you a secret in a minute.
I was just gonna say Sammy did his big one.
Yeah.
The actor who played the role really did what he needed to do.
Anybody who's going to watch a film, whether you've ever seen any of the, like, especially if it's an original, but if it's definitely if it's part of an IP, always Google, is there a mid or post
Yeah.
credit
I do
scene?
the same thing now.
Always Google it. I don't even care if you wait until the very end. Always Google it, because you never know. Nowadays, all kind of movies will throw a post credit scene or some kind of talking or something happening
Yeah.
that you would not even have a clue that they put something in.
Mhm.
I would just encourage anybody to do that.
I do that ever since like Marvel movies, and I feel
Mhm.
like even in some early 2000s movies, there were end credit scenes, even if it was nothing but the whole cast dancing. Like I like to see stuff like that
Yeah,
or bloopers. Back in the day, they would they would kind of keep things. They would kind of put things in the credit to keep you watching, like Harry
Within
Potter, and
15 seconds of it ending, yeah.
yeah,
Or
or Harry
something.
Potter would put the Marauders map in the background. You can see all the names of the, and so they would do things to kind of keep you engaged. And another thing I not read, but I feel like somebody, it might have been a comment section somewhere where somebody was like, their mom had kind of taught them, because they're movie people, and the mom taught them to, stay to the end of the credits, because people worked hard on this and they deserve to see it, have their name read too, even if you forget it. And I thought
Yep.
that was really sweet. So going forward, I'm going to try my best to kind of sit through as many credits as I can.
Mhm.
Google a few people, add a few people on LinkedIn or something like that, because like I said, it takes more than just Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and
Right.
everybody to make the film. The cast and the crew are just as equally important.
And they've been really good with
Exactly, Jay.
they've been really good with Warner Brothers has been really good with showing a lot of behind the scenes too. They showed them all line dancing and cracking jokes with one another and different things
I
like that.
love that. I love that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's been one of those things where I think they've showed how family oriented they became making that film, which that
Yeah.
does happen in on a lot of sets,
Yeah.
especially when everybody likes working with one another.
Yeah.
They've really created that.
I need behind the scenes of Pale Pale Moon. That's been my vocal stem for like ever since I seen the movie. I just walk around screaming, Pale Pale Moon, Pale Pale Moon. And I don't know, it's stuck now. Like I'll be working, typing away, and I'll be Pale Pale Moon. I can't help it. I love it. That
Hey,
stomp did something to my soul.
yeah, that's a hey. The crazy thing, like with films like this, is I think every so often you'll get that niche of directors and stuff that they'll see this and they get a little bit more inspired. The fact that that's one of the things that I hope they really keep pushing, that this is I mean, yes, it had inspiration, but it's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
It was an original, and so it wasn't some they went and found some
Exactly.
random foreign
Yeah.
film and tried to adapt it where people didn't know, what was going on, and then they just, adapted that. He took elements from different things, but that's fine, taking inspiration. But he didn't just steal something and
Okay.
just run with it,
Yeah.
you know.
So somebody said the soundtrack is on here. Is it? Okay. I'm about to go
Yeah.
take a listen. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know.
Soundtrack is out.
Oh, it's a wrap. I'm gonna be annoying. Like it's a wrap. Like I'm not
Yeah.
stopping. Like how y'all were with Hamilton, I'm not stopping. It's a wrap. Thank you for that.
The soundtrack is pretty diverse too.
Yeah,
I it's gonna be hard for me to say anything could beat the first Black Panther,
yeah.
but that soundtrack is still pretty dope. So
Nah, for real. It really is about to be the new anthem. Y'all prepare. What's the sound? Prepare to be sick of me. Like y'all, if there's a full cover or thing of Pale Pale Moon, just it's a wrap. Like it's done. Ringtone, everything. I'm going back to the 2000s. I'm getting ringtones.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Not the
that's what I'm doing.
ringtone.
Like you know what it is, because the music for me was so like Sammy's voice, and it's funny because I love TikTok, and I'm watching the Christians go into like religious psychosis and panicking, and they were like, when Sammy hit that note, it did something to me, and I just felt an uneasiness in my spirit, so I had to pray,
Right,
and I left the theater. It's
right,
like, oh, okay, all
right.
right, like,
So
but
why'd you go in the first place? Like why'd you even go buy a ticket? Like, come on, man.
it literally said sinners, and you were like, oh, okay, as a Christian, I'm
Well,
going,
just
let's
let
walk
me
in
let me
here,
go see. Yeah.
like what?
So so I actually was gonna bring that up.
Glad you asked.
Now
Here,
I
go
don't
ahead.
have
I'll let you go because I was irritated with a lot of people on this.
so
We touched on this.
well
Yeah,
since so this goes back to the idea of how well Michael B. Jordan played the roles. This dude had two separate love interests in the same film, and it literally felt like two totally separate relationships.
yeah,
And I'm gonna be honest, sure, the ladies I feel now this is my opinion. I feel like the ladies did carry those relationships because they were so distinct in their portrayals. but I still see that Michael B. Jordan was able to like ebb and flow with each of them specifically. And it did not feel like just some random dude turning from one to the other, you know.
I'll say this. I have a little bit more. My take might be a little bit more. I don't want to say extra or deeper, but this is what irritated me about Annie versus Mary.
Uh-huh.
There was nothing in my brain that said that Annie was that man's mom, aunt, friend,
No,
whatever. From the
no,
first time she got on the scene, and I feel it's colorism, and I feel it's texturism. I feel it's because she's not light skinned. I feel like that's why she's not viewed as a desirable sex symbol,
agreed.
and it bothered me
And then
initially,
she wasn't petite.
and she wasn't petite, and
Yeah,
it irritated me because it just I feel like it was more telling about the people who had that take that, oh, I thought that was his mom, I thought that was his sister. That's so telling to y'all if that was your take, because that means so what that tells me is that you don't see black women who look like her as a possible love interest in that, and that for me was upsetting. I just feel like at some point, I don't want to generalize, but the black community, because I saw this take coming from black people,
yeah,
the black community, we have to take a mirror and look at ourselves and realize what we are teaching, showing, the next generation, that you have to look like Mary in order for you to be desirable to a man. And that's what irritated me about that.
yeah. I saw an interview where a guy was like, "What your mom look like?" So I mean,
Yeah,
like straight up, he was like, "What your mom look like?"
yeah,
So if that's all you get, then that must be what you've seen, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
You know, I think he was more. It was a little bit more tongue in cheek because I think he was just trying to be on the nose with the idea.
yeah.
But who, first off, who talks to their mom in that tone?
Thank you. That was
That's
the way he
that'll be
talked
a
to her initially.
Oedipus
Yeah,
complex if I've ever seen one. Because I don't talk to my mom in that tone.
nothing about that gave mother and son. Nothing about that gave friend.
Mm,
And I think that's what irritated me because I upon seeing their first interaction, like I didn't get any of that. So I feel like if you did get that, then there may be an internal issue with that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Like she was real. She was real with Smoke, but she wasn't like
and she was
uh
sensual with him. Like that's why. How do
what
you even like
what I
what?
mean. Even when she got on to him, she was being real, but she wasn't being a mom.
Yeah, that's like that. What that gave me was like a woman checking her man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the energy I got from
Hmm. She snapped on him. She said, "Boy, if you don't give me my money, I'm gonna cut you."
that.
Because she
I
was dropping some gems on him. Though he was like,
Yeah.
"Where you gonna spend it?" She's like, "I ain't going nowhere. I'm good." Like,
Mm.
You saying Dr. J?
No, I was gonna say I agree. I kind of try to stay away from those videos and those think pieces online because they're just like we all know why y'all feel that way. We
Yeah.
all know the reason. We all know why you would feel why somebody is who is of lighter complexion with silky hair more desirable from someone who may be darker with more coarse hair. Like we get it.
Yeah.
Like we get it. And I agree with both of y'all. Like when I seen the scene, nothing about that gave I'm coming to visit my mom.
correct.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
didn't give that at all. Um I'm like, I'm assuming for the people who think that when they finally realized it wasn't his mom was when he bent her over. I'm assuming.
Man,
Like,
man. If
I'm
it
like,
took you
I
if it took you that long, you was watching the wrong film.
Yeah. Right.
exactly. So
Honestly,
I'm like, I see what the people are saying, but I was like, come on now. And the actress that plays it, I was like, don't play her. She's beautiful. Like,
mhm,
Oh
look,
yeah.
look at the
Oh
actress. I'm
yeah.
like, she's beautiful. So I'm just like,
Somebody
just
said
because
Annie's for grown men.
period.
correct.
And she is. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
But
But
it's kind of laid out that way. I mean, if you think about it, if you think about the brothers,
yeah,
Smoke wouldn't have been able to. They wouldn't have been able to jive together.
No. No. She
yeah,
needed a grown man. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you got to take like look picture Annie And it's like, could you imagine somebody who don't got their shit together coming to approach her?
No,
Could you imagine that?
no,
She would laugh them out of her face. She want a man who got all their stuff together. She don't got to worry about it. Like I said, Annie gives that she's for grown men. And I think
exactly.
that was the disconnect. She's for grown ass men.
Yeah. And I mean, if you were to ask me, if I was to say out of all the women in the movie, I thought she was the most beautiful one there.
Yeah.
So what social media says, what TikTok says, I'm
With,
like,
with
y'all are
luck.
just exuding your insecurities or whatever it is. Because I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, sometimes though they try to do that whole, some people try to do the whole shock and
mhm.
awe for clicks and all that stuff. I get it. But at the end of the day, if what you're saying doesn't really hold up, you pandering to people who just don't think that deeply about stuff.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I really enjoy our group. And I'm gonna get a little mushy here. This is why I really enjoy, having you guys on the silver site. I've loved all my teams before, but it's something that's real special about working with you guys. Even Desiree and Jay, who are behind the scenes, because I feel like we understand movies, and even if we don't agree, half the time we all respect and understand each other's point of view. Because that's what I love about Sinners. That's the dialogue that is created within us. We talk about. No, you got to be to make this movie. Like, come on,
Now,
like
Sinners was freaked out for sure
it
because
was. I
But it was
loved
in a,
it though, but I
but
loved it.
but I'll say that it was still in a slick, tasteful way, the way they
it
did it.
was.
Because they
You know
did it
what?
with absolutely
It
no
was
nudity.
it was purposely. It was not purposely. It was purposefully like freaked out. Like it wasn't a sex scene just to have a sex scene.
Right.
Everything they did propelled it forward, or it made sense for the characters' relationships.
Yeah. But they accomplished it with no nudity.
Yeah,
So that was even
that's
Listen,
how you
slicker.
do it.
y'all got the
It
girls in
was.
2025 walking around saying "coos" now all of a
Right.
sudden.
Man,
So,
listen. Listen. I'm listen. If some
In the
young lady
Mississippi
accidentally
heat.
used that word, I'll be like, ma'am, I know you don't know what it means. I know you've heard it on a film. Need you to move around. Like, come
Listen,
on now. Come on now.
that woman walked a mile in the Mississippi heat, got
Correct.
ate down, and was stomping in the club after.
Hmm.
Come on, Sammy.
where was her husband?
Hey, listen. First off, Sammy said, "Listen, all I know is I heard an analogy about ice cream, and I'm about to prove it. That's all he
Soul
know."
food.
He was like, "Listen, I'm about to try something." She was like, "Well, okay, like, all right."
We got to talk about Pearline because I'm like, that's a different type of woman for real. Because Miss Ma'am,
Man,
like she
Listen,
been wanted Sammy when she saw him earlier in the day, though. That's the thing. She been wanted Sammy.
listen, I
Pearline
ain't gonna
did
say nothing to
something
get
to me.
myself in trouble, but when Pearline popped on that screen, I was like, "Yikes!"
All right, Gerald, we're gonna see your camera go dark and hear a bunch of rumbling.
His internet gonna cut off in a little bit. Just watch.
No,
Listen,
and
man.
Gerald gonna come back on the camera with a steak on his eye. Like, yeah, Pearline was all right. She wasn't too bad.
Listen, I can talk about somebody I'll possibly never meet. So we'll just go with that. Now, if
All
I meet her
right.
in real life,
All right.
might be a different conversation. I
Listen,
don't know.
G be
Pearline.
bumping into celebrities. So we gonna hear next week, man, guess who I bumped into?
Be like, hey y'all, anybody got an extra bedroom?
Listen, Pearline was something special, man. Like she did something to me. She knew what she wanted to. Like there was no hesitation. And what cracked me up about the whole thing was like, I'm with Sammy on that one. Like I didn't make no vow. You made the vow. You want to break it? I'll break it with you. He's a
It's
listener.
crazy
He's a good
because like
listener.
he is. He was like literally trained earlier in the day, and then it's like later that night. It's one thing about Sinners that I cannot live down, and I know we said this on the first live. How the fact that all of this happened in a 24-hour span,
Correct.
Yeah.
probably less than 24 hours, because it started that morning and span. I cannot live that down because that would have to be the longest day of my life if all of that was to take place. But
and
I
that's
don't
another
know.
reason why I struggle with people who
Yeah.
said they didn't like the first part of the movie. I was like, you do realize this only happened over 24 hours, so they
Yeah.
had like it was a day, so a bunch of stuff was gonna happen that you're gonna see. You know,
Could you
um,
Yeah.
imagine? That'd be the most exhausting day, like
yeah.
ever. Pearline being back. She was. I didn't know that. I'm gonna
Oh,
find everything Pearline was
Yeah,
I
in
didn't know
now.
she was the mayor in Batman movie. Oh, okay. I know.
that's what I'm talking about. Listen, you keep yourself together, man. Got that pearline color skin. You better relax.
Okay, Dark Knight and Bright Days. Okay, I have to look. I have to look. I want to see everything she's in now. To be honest with you.
So let's be real though. Like the boy, the boy, Delroy Lindo. Like, come on, man. Like he was, he was virtually the glue that kept the whole movie like together. Like,
You want Delta Slim?
yeah,
Yeah.
man. I'm the coldest, one of the coldest pieces that went through was when he was telling them that story when they were driving and they had freaking the soundtrack of that piece playing in the background.
Hmm.
I was like, Ryan Coogler, bro, you a genius, man. Like, come on, who does that? Like, who's gonna tell a story and not show you anything? Just you just got it playing in the background.
I
And I'm
love that
like,
though. Like it's. I
yeah,
feel like there's always a unique way to tell a flashback, and I
hmm,
feel like now that's probably my favorite way because I feel like sometimes flashbacks can be a little bit too long. They don't look right. But this was just enough taste, and I gotta give it to him too, because his facial expressions, you could see him recalling
agreed,
a,
agreed, agreed. Yeah,
you can see him recalling it and his eyes and the way he held it in his
uh huh,
face, bro. Like get all the awards, all award
yeah,
season. Like Tomas said, sweep it.
yeah. He did an excellent job of like reliving that situation because when even when Sammy asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you know some of them?" He's like, "All of them." And when he started telling the story, and then he's like, "Well, what'd you do?" Drank it. I was like, "Bro, like he was on point, like all the way across the board. He was on point, you
Yeah.
know."
Mhm.
But of course, when they met him, I was dying laughing because, well, when Stack cracked that beer open, he said, "Ooh,
Oh,
oh." When that boy cracked that beer open, it was crazy. Um,
I love Delroy. Delroy is probably one of my. And I want to say he was. Everybody needs every cast of characters needs like a good amount of glue, and I feel like he was
Mhm.
just that right amount for me.
He was like, and he had some of the best one-liners. He's like, I dated a vampire once. I'm like, sir, did you really?
Yeah, like,
Like,
what?
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
He
like
was.
I'm like, run that back. Like I need details. Run that back.
I'm like, how you know she was a vampire? But I really loved his character. And I feel like he's an old school actor. He's been in some of the most iconic films,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's been in some of the most iconic films. And just to see how his role, like when he first hit the screen, there's no way I would have known that his role would have been so imperative in the whole movie. Like
yeah,
when he first hit the screen, because literally they walked up to him and they're like, "We need you to play," and he was reluctant. As we
yeah.
saw, he was just like, "Listen, I play for these folks over here. I'm booked every week for these folks. I get my same amount of money, and I'm good. I don't want nothing more, nothing less. I know what to expect."
Yeah.
And you already know what happened. He got talked into a better deal for more money, and it's just like from that beginning scene when we saw him to how it ended with him literally sacrificing himself to
Yeah.
save people and him understanding like, listen, I done dated my vampire girl, I done lived my life, I drank, I did everything I wanted to do, so I'm good. I'm like, I'm here to protect y'all. And also his love for Sammy is what got me in the movie too, because remember when him and Sammy first met, he was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is new school. Huh? Loki. I
Girl,
wasn't
watch
gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna
she,
say nothing. I
she was
heard
all
her in the
cool like this.
background.
She said, she's
Listen, I wasn't gonna do him like that. I heard her in the background, and I was like, he his facial expression switching. He turned
yeah.
that camera
That's
off.
why he muted the mic too. That man between the washer and the dryer right now.
I was really gonna leave it alone. I tried to ignore it. I was like, did anybody see that? But maybe not.
He said, "Huh? Okay."
He hasn't been back since. So
We're gonna get a paragraph saying, "I gotta withdraw or resign from the silver side. I can no longer make content."
listen, Mrs. G saw that was tuned in on YouTube, okay?
Oh, he back.
G,
There
you
you
all
go.
right?
You okay?
What up? Yeah, I'm
All
good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Blink twice. You sure?
I'm great.
Look, shaking. I'm fine.
G, you need to read the comments because
Oh Lord, everybody thought I died.
They
they
talk
said
about you
your
got in
head
trouble
was through the washer and
for that
dryer after you
Perlene
talked about.
comment. They said your
Oh,
wife came into the thing and snatched you off the line.
oh, good Lord. Here we go.
It did not help with him coming back. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm fine.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm good.
Like,
The man calling hat twisted and everything.
Nah, I'm good.
He gonna be quiet for the rest of the live now.
No, I won't. Oh, come on, T Wade.
Oh my God, that's
he's
funny.
gonna cry.
It's not that serious.
Oh my God,
Nah.
that's funny. That's funny. We're here for you.
What
Which
I
is
missed,
okay.
man?
Yeah.
We was talking about you.
Oh, okay.
Well, now we'll talk about Delta Slim, but somebody called it to our attention that you left abruptly.
Oh yeah. No. So crazy thing, my plumber, he actually left his drill here and he just got back. I was like, bro, you're supposed to be here like 6:00. So he can't get that drill. Yeah, that's cool.
He came back at 9 p.m.
It's not 9 p.m. here, it's 7:48 here.
Oh, blink twice if you need help. No, we're glad you're safe.
I am
Yeah.
very safe. I'm good.
Yeah, we're glad you're good. We're a little worried for a minute. Yeah. So, but yeah, we just be getting on about Delta Slim. It's a real convincing story.
Dang, T Wade gonna just keep rolling on me.
They're not gonna let you live this one down.
It's
It was
all
just
good. It's all
comedic
good.
timing.
It works out because I
Timing
would have done the
perfect.
same thing. It's all good.
She was watching it in the other room, laying down. She got up immediately. She was all screaming like this.
She wasn't even here.
Nah,
Actually, she came in. Nah, she wasn't even here. She actually came in and was like, "Hey, the plumber's here to get that thing." So I was like, "All right," but yeah, that dude, man, he I really I'm fine. Everything's fine. Andre, I'm gonna need you to log off.
Y'all are funny.
I need you to log off.
I like the Monday crew. I like the people in the
train rolling.
Yeah. Monday crew got jokes.
Really? I was like, where y'all the rest of the week?
Yeah, we're out on Tuesday and Sunday. Oh, don't forget to like and share, subscribe, because we're going to be doing Last of Us. And also let us know in the comment what you guys are watching since we got everybody here. Let us know what you guys are watching so we can shift. We don't mind switching content if you guys are going to be here to talk about it with us. As you can see, we're funny. We got jokes. So whatever you're watching, throw it in the chat and we'll add it to our calendar so we can talk about it with y'all. We enjoy when our chat is popping. So
agreed. Yeah. So with Delta Slim though himself, like, you know, obviously he was a lot of comic relief through some of the tumultuous pieces, but he was still speaking real stuff. Like, you know, he had told when he had told Sammy, you know, like, bro, the devil gonna have to get through me to get to you. You know, like all these crazy things that like people were going through, he was able to speak to it in a way to kind of help, kind of, um, I don't want to say keep people level, but just I think for the audience, at least if you're watching it as an audience member, it helps you to kind of be like, oh, somebody's saying something that I would probably be worried about. So I thought that was kind of cool. But dude had some, he just, I mean, obviously he had some, demons that he was really trying to, work through
Yeah.
as for himself. And I think all the characters had some to some degree. But I definitely thought his comic relief was pretty leveling sometime to help kind of keep
And
things going.
I'll say this: it was an appropriate amount of comic relief to
Mhm.
where he didn't steal the show. He more so added to like he added to the show to the
Yeah.
movie to me, because a lot of times the comic relief can kind of take over. It can be kind of put on real heavy, and it kind of like takes me out of it. But his humor was just enough to where like it was enjoyable. Watching from the OKCJ, okay, yeah. So yeah, it was enjoyable. I loved Delta Slim. So also I want to kind of retract something. We had talked about Grace, and Ryan Coogler actually did go and speak about Grace wasn't written from a selfish perspective. She was written from the place of a mother. And I think, I
Oh,
don't
of
know if it
course.
was you, Dr. J, that said that last time. Um, Understanding that, okay, yes, I guess from, because I don't have kids, and y'all know me. You cry, you we about to get eaten.
Dr.
Listen,
J with the side eye.
somebody got to tell a story, and it's gonna be me. So I would have thrown Grace and her child out to the vampires if I absolutely had to. But I get that it was written from a place of from her being a mom and realizing what those vampires were capable of. She was protecting her daughter. So I wish, while I wish she would have waited to come up with a plan and not been so knee jerk, I also understand that when your child, like not even just a child, like when it's somebody you love like that, like if it was my mom, I probably would do something similar. No, I would let my mom go too.
But you got to remember,
But she got
she literally went from business
yeah,
transaction
yeah,
to being a mom.
yeah,
She basically like, hey, we're not here for that.
yeah.
Whatever they got going on, we're not here for that piece. And so where she was with that, oh gosh,
What, Dr. J?
Dr. J got
Are
me
we
What?
some words.
skipping over RJ saying, yeah,
I'm
if it was
gonna
my mom, I would help her out, but never mind, I would let my mom go too? Are we skipping over
Yeah,
that?
she got to go too.
That
That's
he,
nah,
just
that
what
he
I'm
took
saying.
a week.
listen.
Listen,
That's
somebody got
almost
to
like
tell a
cannon
story.
fodder at this point. He's proven himself to be for self.
I will be
So
ruthless and
we
any
all
kind of like
know
life or death.
that we
Do not
can't
count
take a
on me.
group trip and nothing pop off because RJ is not.
Listen,
It'll be back to this is RJ doing solo film reviews
listen.
because everybody else be dead and RJ be the one. Yeah, so no.
I
Do
feel like
not.
RJ would never even get a charge for nobody. I feel like if it
No,
was between us and him,
no. I wouldn't take a jaywalking ticket from nobody. Like I'm snitching. Like I crossed at the crosswalk. He didn't. Listen, I told him
Facts.
my best friend and I went to a buffet, and they was charging extra for crab legs, and they tried to charge for crab legs, and I was like, I didn't have the crab legs. He had the crab legs. Like if I snitch on my best friend over some crab legs, you think I won't
RJ,
send y'all to jail? You think I won't send you to your death? No, it's not
wait, RJ is loyal to himself.
ex-
Yes.
happening. Listen, if you even think you can count on me in a life or death situation, think again, because you can't.
I'm happy we know ahead of time. I
Now you
mean,
know, like the blackening, y'all would have died. Like that would have been it. I would have threw you all under the bus.
oh my
Love
God.
y'all, but y'all would have been
We
gone.
we have families. My God.
And I
Like,
will be sure to explain that you fought to the final death, to the final breath.
exactly, Jay. RJ first, kids last, in that order. Oh my God, you remind me of when I was watching The Walking Dead and Alpha just gave the baby up. I feel like that would have been RJ. The
Yep, here
baby
you
cried
go.
once. He was like, "Excuse me,
Here you go.
on my watch."
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. I don't do that. But I understand where Grace is coming from. I don't know who I would have done that for, but I get it.
Do you really?
Honestly, I just say I
No.
do, but I truly don't understand it.
I was about to say, do you really? Listen, y'all, I
I
said
don't
2 weeks
really.
ago, there's no way RJ would ever babysit any of my children ever.
No,
Just in
not
case.
during apocalypse. No more, no.
Exactly. Listen, what did the Tyler Perry and we know how he feel about TP.
And y'all know I
So
can't stand Tyler Perry. But yeah. Listen, I'm not taking no L for no bullet for nothing. For nobody. No
not even
knife
an
or nothing.
arm.
No,
The arm is
I won't take a pinch for nobody. Like that's not happening. You think I'm gonna take a vampire bite? No. No. Grace would have been
Yeah.
thrown right out there.
But Grace has just lost her husband, and basically the boy Smoke didn't have a plan at that point. So she was like, "Yo, like we gotta do something."
And she could have went out there with him.
I gotta
She,
say, how Grace lost her husband, it really ain't have to go down that way. But it's
of
like
course not.
nobody was listening and no one had a plan because Grace's husband, if you think about it, he was inside, he was safe,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And she was like, "Go get the car." He's like, "All right, babe, let's go get the car." And as soon as he stepped foot, I said, "Oh, he's done for."
he's gone.
I'm like, he's done for. But he casually walked out, like he went outside after the mass group of people when there was a little bit of people left. Like he literally didn't have to go. But I mean, it's a movie, so I guess he had to go to
Yeah,
make the whole, the ultimate scene or whatnot. But he had the most casual walkout, just like getting the key. I'm warming up the car like nothing is happening, and for him to come back and for it to be her is crazy. RJ was during the chorus of "Poor Pictronically." Yep,
I'd have been dancing right alongside everybody. River dance. Let's
I'm
go.
not gonna lie. I've been having that song on replay. I don't know what that makes me, but I've been having that song on replay. It's been stuck in my head. Pick poor Robin clean.
man. I'm gonna tell you the image that I can't get out of my head is Cornbread doing that weird ass dance during
Oh yeah.
that thing he was doing with his arms had me cracking up, man.
I think it was more than them trying to handle their own safety. I feel like when things got a little bit too, because you got to think there's a whole body there, and at this point they didn't know it was supernatural.
Correct.
So I feel like if that's like you had a kickback and like y'all in the back room, and then somebody dropped dead, are you gonna stick around? I would have listen. Y'all know
Like,
me,
oh, time to go.
King of Survival over here. I'd have left too.
Right. And at that point, they hadn't determined exactly what it was.
Yeah,
So
well, it is. It's very addictive.
yeah, yeah. That was one of the things that it was neat. Now, at a certain point, though, they did start listening to Annie because I mean, basically, Annie was the only one that had any real knowledge
Yeah,
of any of this stuff,
Mhm.
and so when she was like, "Oh, well, it's not a Hank," and then when she finally said what it was, everybody just was kind of like, "Okay,
yeah.
what is that like? Kind of like, what does that mean?" And she was like, "All right, here's what we do," based on whatever she had, studied, and so,
Cool.
um,
What I liked about Annie too was this was kind of like you ever watch a white movie and they go to the black person who knows all the supernatural stuff, and it's the trope of what is it, the magical Negro.
yeah,
But I feel like this was the magical Negro trope, except that they had an immense respect for her knowledge. They weren't trying to use her for gain. They really just kind of they came to her out of respect and they listened to her because they knew that
right,
she knew what she was talking about.
I appreciated that because, like, in a world where people tend to not listen to Black women immediately and doubt any type of thing, I love how Ryan Coogler portrayed when Annie said jump, they said, "All right, how high?"
Yeah.
Annie said, "Eat the garlic." Annie said, "Eat the garlic," and everybody was like, "All right." For the team, Perlene was like, "I don't like garlic." I was like, "Listen, Miss Ma'am, like,
She would have
yeah,
get
been shot on site
get with the
immediately.
program." Oh my God, you know what I just remembered from the movie? And I don't know if y'all remember this scene. Remember when everything is going down, everybody runs out the juke joint. It's the group of them still left, and they think they see blood on the floor, remember? And there's
Yeah.
somebody passed out
Yes.
So it was the
on
dude that
the
got his
floor.
face, got his face cut. He's the one who passed out.
Yeah, he was passed out, and
Yeah.
I guess it was either the beer, the wine. I don't know what was on the floor. They thought it was just blood, and he was dead, so they thought he was gonna turn. They literally put him
Carried him
outside,
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Because
I
that's the
was
one
like,
Cornbread ended up getting.
"Yep,
Honestly, I
yep."
wouldn't even carried him outside. I would have kicked him outside. Like, we're not setting foot out here. Like, I would have
Mhm,
pushed that man outside with a broom.
Yeah.
mhm.
So Star Lord had a question. They said, why do you think to go to the car when the vampire's outside? But you got to think about it. They was for self at that point.
I
They
think
they
they
literally
didn't know the
said we didn't
vampires
come
were
here for that.
outside though. At
Yeah,
that point,
they just were. He was
they
trying to go
just
get the
saw
car.
they
Yeah,
heard a dead body and they said we don't want no parts of this.
right.
Yeah. And then I think we also have to remember they're the Smokestack brothers. Like they're
Hmm.
known
For
for
trouble.
trouble. Like even in the opening scene when he's like, "Have you heard of the Smokestack brothers?" Well, I'm Smoke. And then she 10 step the little girl, she 10 steps. She was like she's heard the horror stories of him.
Yeah.
So, but even in that scene, you have to give it to Kugler again because when he gave her amount, she was literally like, never take the first amount. You're supposed to bargain back for a
He was
better
teaching
amount.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So even in this era of we are someone to be fair based on what happened the last 7 years, what happened before we went to Chicago, it
Yeah.
was still, he's still uplifting his people. He's still uplifting the community because he's like, yeah, that was
Yeah.
my offer. But you deserve better. And he was the MVP. I
Yeah.
I think it was crazy. I'm sorry. I'm like, I need some water. I think it was crazy of the person who actually bit her. Because literally, remember when she got bit by Stack, she said, "Oh no, not you." That he was the one to do
Oh,
it. She
yeah.
literally said, "Not you, not you."
Yeah.
So I think if anyone did it, it made the most sense. It was to be him, but it was just like you out of all people.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking. It was like, dang.
I'm gonna mind my business.
Right? And you see
Mind
the
my
camera went
business.
off again. But yeah, that eat the garlic scene, it would have went totally different with me. I don't I just see if she was allergic, But like you already know we're in the midst of some shit. Like eat the garlic, man.
And did.
And should have
And
been.
did.
Should have been.
She served her purpose at the end, though, when she helped get Sammy out of there. So she did serve her purpose at the end.
Yeah.
I
And
knew she was
you
going
know
to
what
get
I
that
like
one.
too? What not like what I noticed? Everybody that was there just about should not have been there. Mary should have been home with her husband. So should Pearline. You know, Bo and Grace were only there to make money. Like, say everybody
Cornbread
was
should have been, yeah.
yeah.
Cornbread should
This
have been with his
Delta
pregnant
Slim.
wife.
Delta Slim should have been at the other place where he got hired to be at. Sammy should have been in church. Yo, all somewhere where you should. It's sort of like when your mom tell you not to go somewhere
Mhm.
and you go anywhere and something end up happening. It's like that. Everybody was in a place they weren't supposed to be and they ended up dead.
So, question. With that statement, you said everybody was in a place they weren't supposed to be because they were all minding their business until Smoke and Stack came into town and literally took them off course of their day.
Exactly,
How
Yeah.
do
TD.
y'all feel about all the theories of it being compared to the seven deadly sins about how they all ended up at the juke joint that
I
night?
heard that, but I saw it. I don't know if I truly believe that it was related to the seven deadly sins. I feel
Okay.
like people will try to like link that to everything where there's seven people involved in it. And for
Mhm.
me, I just didn't see like because lust could have been several characters,
Right.
greed could have been several characters. So I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people with the seven deadly sins, they love to stretch stuff like that to make it seem like, oh, it was genius, it was connected. Like there's even the seven deadly sins connection for SpongeBob. Like, where's
Really?
Lust and SpongeBob? Like, it's like stop.
Mhm. Each committed a sin. Mm.
Okay, so let's. I think the only thing we really haven't talked about in detail is Remick, because I think because I asked and Jay said we haven't talked about Remick a
Mm.
lot. So there were crows or vultures on top of the house, and it was funny because I was watching this white lady's TikTok, and she was like, "It took me like three tries, three watches to understand that the vampire is a culture vulture," and I'm like, "Yeah, we got
That's
that
a
on the first
reach.
go around." Like,
But that's a reach to like say it like that. Because I
yeah,
mean, the idea was obviously he wasn't being that more than he was just saying, no, I want what Sammy has, you know.
they
Um,
also wanted what Annie had, and all of that. Both Sammy and Annie have links to like cultural relevancy with what is it, voodoo? I mean, it wasn't voodoo, and
Voodoo.
Sammy with his musical magic powers or whatever he had.
Yeah, and I think who asked the comment? Andrea, I think, about why they didn't want her to be unalived. I think it also had to do with, like you all said, Remick said he has everyone's memories once he
right.
turns them, right? He
Yeah.
has everyone's memories.
And
So I
knowledge.
feel like turning someone like Annie, all of that everything her grandmother taught her
Right.
that she mentioned and things like that, it would be in the mind of Remick. And I mean, I'm a vampire movie connoisseur, so there is different levels to vampirism based
Mhm.
on the movies, and like
Yeah.
I noticed some little things that were different from other movies. One second.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I noticed some different things that were different from other movies, and I think I brought it up to G when I said, it's interesting, the vampires have to be invited in every time they leave the dwelling, because
Mhm.
in other movies they only have to be invited in once and they can come
Once.
Once.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Sinners they have to be invited in every single time, because that's why Remick, and that's why what's Mary couldn't come back in until they were invited in again, even though she was already inside.
Yeah.
So, and usually your maker can read your mind, but no,
And
no,
True
you,
Blood. True
let me
Blood.
think.
Yeah.
In Interview with a Vampire was different. Yeah, Interview with a Vampire, it was different because, but yeah, so different vampire movies, they have their like
Yeah,
little
different
things.
rules. Yeah, a little different,
Yeah,
little twist on the rules a little bit.
yeah.
And I think that's why he was so, going back to what you said, that's why he was so like distraught when Annie got killed, because he wanted all that knowledge. He wanted all those memories and things that were passed down. Um, like I said, he just at that point he just wanted to absorb everybody's culture and their memories and things like that. Yep. Hmm. Hey, hey, AK, what's going
Hey,
on?
what up?
Thanks for stopping by.
Oh yeah, she meant married. Okay.
Yeah, Mary. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe she just didn't come back in then because she was with the group after the fact. But
Yeah. Well, she
That,
ended up running off
yeah.
while that fight was happening, and
But
so
she could have easily went back in and drugged them out if she could have, you know. So I really feel like you're right. You had to be invited in more than once. I'll say this though, Michelson would have burned that shack to the ground.
oh,
There wouldn't
absolutely.
have, there wouldn't have been no come outside. It would have been like, because then one time he threw a doorknob through somebody's head because he wanted to get into the house. Like Klaus don't
Listen,
play. Klaus would have burned it to the ground.
on my list of favorite vampires or hybrids, Klaus is my number one. Like I could go on and on about Klaus. That's my guy. I will forever watch the originals on repeat when I have nothing else to do
All day.
because of Klaus.
Klaus was that
But
man.
said
I think
they were.
I the vampires are getting invited
That was
because
slick. He said, "Oh, because we're okay."
I was like, culture vulture. How you know that's what we refer to it as? Like
Hey, it
culture.
was slick the way he did it, though. He's like, "Okay, I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down."
Can we talk about that scene everybody keeps clipping on TikTok when they said, he's like, you the clan? He's like, sir.
So, right?
Like, I believe in unaliving everybody, not just y'all.
You're
Like,
right.
he
So we
was
are gonna go
hard.
take care of them when we done over here.
He was offended. Okay, it's the
Yep.
sir for me. It was just like, I'm astonished that you would even ask me.
What?
I'm Irish. What do you
Me?
mean I found the clan?
I did think it was cool though. He did tell them like, "Hey, bro, they gonna come take this stuff from y'all anyway." So
Yeah, he did
y'all
tell
go
him
ahead
that.
and
Yeah.
like, yeah,
But you know what though? There's a saying that redheaded people or like Irish people are the black people of white people. And time again we see that. And I think it's really smart that he played that because Irish people were ostracized. Of course, not to the extent that black people were, but for the longest time, like Irish were the black people of white people.
yeah.
You know? Yep, Clint. Yep, exactly. They were indentured service. They were not slaves. Big difference. Big difference. But yeah, guys, I don't know. Sinners is magical. Sinners is special. And as we wrap this, conversation, I really want to thank everybody for joining in with the laughs and the jokes and the deep insight and stuff like that. And go see Sinners as many times as you can. It's not often that we have a movie this special that brings the world together, or particularly Black people together, in community when it comes to film and television. So if you have the time, you have the money, see it as many times as you can. Take a friend, tell a friend. But yeah, we will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, talking about Last of Us season 2, episode whatever. But just turn on that notification bell, hit subscribe, like, and follow the panel down below in the description. You will find our social media links. We have various projects going on in different brands, and we love to chat and talk with you guys. And if there's anything that you want to watch, that you would like us to watch and enjoy and talk about it with you, drop it down below in the comments. So that way we can create a dialogue and keep this discussion going. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, later days.